Hey guys, it's Antonio again, and thank you so much for coming back to the Washington Church of Christ YouTube channel. Today's devotional is going to be talking about the prayer habit of Jesus. And where we get this prayer habit is found in Mark chapter 6, beginning in verse 45. Immediately, Jesus made his disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to Bethsaida while he dismissed the crowd. After leaving them, he went up on a mountainside to pray. Now these two verses precede the miracle of Jesus walking on the water, but today we're not going to be talking about that miracle. Today I want to focus on the prayer habit of Jesus. You see, Jesus oftentimes, not just in this location, Jesus oftentimes went to a mountainside, went to an isolated place, it sometimes says, to pray. He went alone. So Jesus, the Son of God, saw that it was important to maintain an open communication with God. I think that's really important for us to look at because we know that Jesus is the Son of God and he was just with God in heaven, and yet here on earth he saw it as vitally important to his spiritual life to have an open communication with the Lord. And not just one where you only pray with people, but one where it's a very personal prayer. I also think it leads to this other thought, and I hadn't thought of this until recently. I think Jesus felt alone. And let me explain what I mean. Jesus was obviously never really physically alone. He was always with his disciples. He was always teaching, always preaching. And he knows that because he says that's what he came here to do. But the thing is, with all these people, a lot of them did not understand the spiritual implications of his words. They didn't even understand the Old Testament scriptures that they were supposed to be familiar with. Whether it was the Jewish leaders or the disciples or just other people he taught, they could never fully grasp what he was saying. And we see his frustration come to a boiling point sometimes with his disciples where he just becomes, exasperated with how they still don't understand a lot of the teachings. And I think Jesus, while he was never physically alone, never physically isolated, he felt spiritually alone. That there was no one who understood the teachings, no one who could be there as a spiritual counterpart to talk to him. But he didn't have that here on this earth, but he had that in heaven. You see, prayer gave him an avenue to talk to God, a God who understood these spiritual conversations, a God who understood what Jesus was going through. Basically, a God who made this plan for Jesus to fulfill. So he knew that he could go to God in prayer to voice his worries, his concerns, maybe his excitement about some things. And I think that's incredibly important for us for this. That sometimes we may feel alone, we may feel isolated, we may be feeling that we are in a pit of despair. We may feel depressed. And when Jesus felt those same emotions, his answer to despair, to isolation, to loneliness was prayer. That communication with God, that relationship with God. So I want to encourage you guys today to have that relationship with God and to use prayer as your first option, no matter what emotions you're anyway, whether it's a praise of joy or sorrow or sadness or loneliness. Go to God in prayer and open up to him. Have that open communication, that open relationship with him. Thank you guys, and I hope that was helpful for you. Just a side note now, something unrelated to the devotional. In the description, I'll include a link to the blogging website that I just started probably about a week or two ago. We already have a couple posts up there. The reason I mention that is if you enjoy these devotionals, we're doing them about every week or two. The blogs, the posts there on the website will be updated a lot more frequently. So if you want short devotionals, short reads to help keep you spiritually focused, please visit that website. I'll link it in the description. But other than that, guys, I hope you have a great day. And remember, keep God first in all that you do. God bless.